Folks, welcome in to another episode of Force Takeaways, where this is sort of a mini-sode, a little appetizer, or a dessert, if you will, perhaps. Just a quick little reaction to round one of the NFL Draft 2026. The first overall pick was the Raiders, and they took Mendoza, like basically everyone on Earth thought, and then shit got real after that. Shit went crazy. Shit went doo-doo mode. We went hyphy in the streets. Jake the Snake, walk us through the biggest storylines of the round one, what surprised you, what teams were trading up and down, and going every which way.
Absolutely. Thank you. TBG, Tony Ballgame, everybody. Man, and I think I texted you this like a million times, but what a wacky round one. That was a blast. I
Lots
expected
of
this to
movement.
be a boring draft, lots of movement, and lots of like non-chalk picks too. Like it was a very um chaotic, as the kids say. It had a chaotic aura. They were chaos farming all these teams. And I loved it, man. Even like the first big shocker, I know there was a lot of chatter. Who is going to be the first edge? Who's it going to be? Bailey? Is it going to be Arvell Reese? But I kind of expected Arvell Reese to be that pick, so David Bailey
Me
was a
too.
surprise. And then at number 3, I love this pick. There was some chatter about Jeremiah Love coming out to the desert, but there are like several needs for a Cardinals team that is like beginning a 2 to 3 season rebuild. Um, and so a lot of people were thinking they can go O-line. You know, they
Or
love this is
defense. The other edge rusher, which is what I thought. I thought once David Bailey went off, I was like, oh well, Arvell Reese is going to go to the Cardinals.
That's what I was thinking too. Arvell
Shocking.
Reese, like they spent the previous 2 drafts. They were filling out their interior D line, so I figure, hey, we're gonna go edge here. Maybe pair like a young superstar with Josh Sweat, who was insanely productive, and that defense last year had double-digit sacks and was a Pro Bowler. But no, they go Jeremiah Love, and I love this pick. This is one of my favorite picks of the night. And I know it's very, very high to take a running back, but you're looking at a Cardinals team that is in the post Kyler Murray era. They need a star. They need some kind of identity. At this point in time, it's not going to be Marvin Harrison Jr. He's still trying to figure things out. We're still trying to see if he's going to be the pick that people thought he was going to be. Um, they have a running back, James Conner, who has an injury history and is 30 this season, who has had a couple back-to-back 1,000-yard rushing seasons behind this O-line, which has improved over the past season. I'd like to add that. Could have gotten close to that 1,000-yard number again last year, but got hurt. He does kind of have an extensive injury history, and he's a bit older, so Love is a smart pick, right? Like they took best player available that filled a need, and it's probably the best player in the draft. Like how I describe Jeremiah Love to a couple people, like to me, he's kind of like Adrian Peterson and Reggie Bush combined. He's a dynamic dude that is a demon in the open field. He's so fast, he's so shifty, he's a freak athlete, but he also plays with power, with strength. He jumps over guys that are standing up straight. And I'm not talking about just like 1 or 2 big highlight plays. Like that's one of his moves. Like his vertical jump is insane.
Yeah.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. He's also like one of the better route runners in this entire draft. Like he could have been a first round draft pick as a receiver. He has elite separation. He's very explosive. He's such a sharp route runner. Like he is going to be dominant in the passing game as well. Like you can flex him out to the slot and have him run like 3 to 4 separate routes. Like he's going to be such a contributor starting day one.
And with Jacoby Brissett is going to be, I mean, at least it seems right now is going to be their week one starter. I wouldn't write them off to not be like a little spicy team, at least in the first half of the season. If injuries don't take over or something crazy doesn't happen, like Jeremiah Love being able to take the pressure off Brissett and Marvin Harrison Jr. So it won't be like all eyes on
Exactly.
Marvin and like this guy's supposed to be. He was supposed to save them from the pits of hell, and he had kind of disappointing start to his career, frankly. But he's had some great
He's had some
moments as
mental
well.
stuff. Yeah.
Yeah,
He's had some big
it's a
catches.
tough
Like
a
it's
tough
consistency with him.
transition.
It
I'm rooting
is.
for him
Yeah.
though.
It's been hard for him.
I'm rooting for Maserati Marv.
Yeah, when he shows up, like when he has it all, when he's all there, he's all there. It just he needs to work on his consistency. Like he needs to work on his route running, whatever. That is, a conversation for a different day we can get into. But I love this pick. This is probably my favorite pick of the entire first round.
Wow.
The Cardinals have it's a new era in Glendale, and they have their superstar. They have the face of their franchise, and he could, like, if he stays healthy and is like the running back that we want him to be, that we think he can be, like he's a potential Hall of Famer. And I think that is so great. The pick right after Arizona, Carnell Tate to the Titans. Love that. I was in that large crowd of folks thinking that it would be great if the Titans stayed at 4 and go Jeremiah Love, get
Mhm.
their young quarterback Cam Ward some help. They did get their young quarterback some great help with the best and probably like one of the only elite receiver prospects in this draft. Um, Very stoked that he has a legitimate young number one receiver, a rookie receiver that can be 1,000+ guy, can catch like 90 to 100 balls. Like he can go in and be a true X day one. I'm very stoked about that. He is like a true vertical threat, can take the top off a defense. But what they did at what was it, pick 31? They trade back into the first round,
Oh, the Titans,
and
yeah.
the Titans get Keldrick Falk at 31, who I loved. He was probably my favorite edge rusher in this draft. He is a strong high motor guy. He is an elite finisher. He has a number of moves. He can win with power. He can win with speed. He looks on tape like the most pro ready edge rusher in this class, and he wasn't at the very top of everybody's board because he played for an underwhelming Auburn team. But he lit it up all year. He has the size, he has the strength, he has the speed. He looks the part, he plays the part. I was personally hoping that the Eagles would be, if he fell a bit, that the Eagles would trade up and take him. Um, and I was telling my wife, Liv, we were watching the pick, and the Titans coach, Robert Sala, had this big shit-eating grin on his face, and I go, I look at Liv, and I said, "They're going Keldrick Falk. Watch this. He's stoked." And then they announced the pick. It's Keldrick Falk. He loves an edge rusher.
Wow.
He's a defense guy like me, so real
Just
recognize.
real quick, couple notes on the Titans. First of all, I
Mhm.
forgot that they. I went back. I was curious. I went back and looked it up, and I remembered that they did sort of announce their new color scheme, their new uniforms, and sort of like team identity in March.
Yeah, their new
And
logo is cool.
I forgot that they're going with the sort of the. It's not. It doesn't really look all that different, except now that it's like powder blue
Mhm.
forward. I'm loving that for the Titans. Also, this guy Kelvin. Looking at his Instagram followers, he is following an account called Manly Growth Corner.
Interesting. I don't know
I
what
just
that's
love
about.
look. I just love looking up who these guys follow on Instagram just to get a little peek into their mind. This guy seems pretty normal so far. Honestly, it's like a lot NBA. He's following Angel Reese and Meg Thee
Ooh,
Stallion.
ooh, love that. Yeah, he
Uh,
just seems
ju-
like a good 22-year-old guy.
a jewelry company. Oh, Notre Dame like news site or account. Okay, yeah,
Um,
that's all for me for the Titans.
the Titans did great. I'm so stoked for them. This was a very good first round for them. Um, Sonny Styles going to Washington is good. They kind of get their next off ball backer. That they desperately need some youth on defense. Arvell Reese to the Giants. The Giants. Let's talk about the Giants really quick. As a team, I think the Giants did very well. They're not the they're not the New York team that had the best draft. That's the Jets, who we'll touch on next. But I just want to take a second to talk about the Giants.
Right.
They get Arvell Reese and Francis Malagoa. So they get a tackle, like a true kind of swing guy. He can play right or left. He can also switch inside and be a big, powerful, oversized guard, which is a trend that is happening in the NFL. He's 6'5", 330. People are kind of liking those big, oversized guards these days as we see a return to the power run game across the league. But Arvell Reese, probably the best at like the consensus air quotes best edge rusher, paired with their already like very deep roster of pass rushers and D linemen. Like they're gonna have a crazy pass rush now, and it sucks that it's the Giants. But just objectively speaking, like I love what they're doing. It's gonna be so fun to watch. You know,
Yeah, so yeah,
16 or 15 games, 15 of their games are going to be fun for me to watch because of this pass rush. When they're playing the Birds, it's not going to be so fun.
can
Um,
you walk me through the biggest differences between, like, what is the difference between Arvell Reese and um, David Bailey? Because is this going to be? I have a feeling it's going to be one of those like C.J. Stroud, Caleb Williams things where it's like they're both going to end up being pretty good, but one might have the worst start, and they'll be like, "Look, the other team made a stupid decision." But it's like they're both top 10 picks. Like, is there that big of a difference? Like, is it going to be one's going to have a slower start, or like what's
so
going on
David
with these guys?
Bailey, he played at Stanford and was a transfer. He is the older player. Um, he's played more games and he has shown more productivity over a number of years and like in different systems. Um, that's why a lot of people thought he was the safer pick. Arvell Reese is a freakier athlete. He's the more explosive, exciting player, but has less. He's put less on tape because he's had less opportunity. Um, but is a very freaky, explosive athlete. Like he is very exciting. He pops a little more. But David Bailey has the production. If you ask me, I was an Arvell Reese guy because you're talking about a player that won a national championship, that was a big part of that national championship defense, especially in the playoff. Um, he was more of a hybrid type of player, right? He was like most of the time was a pass rusher, but has like freaky athletic ability. Like he can drop back into coverage. He can play the zone. He is not necessarily the he can set the edge, um, but he has not like consistently had to do that. That's what he needs to work on. He has shown that he can set the edge, like and earn those pass rushing downs, right? So, but on like first and second down, he needs to work on his consistency, setting the edge and playing the run. He can do it. He just needs to do it more. In my opinion, Arvell Reese is like the probably the higher ceiling, but a bit of a higher floor player. David Bailey is less exciting, probably a bit of a lower ceiling, but has a lower floor. Is going to be like a plug and play type of player. I think it's one of those situations where if my team was in that situation, like drafting early, and it was like, all right, we need an edge, best available, and you can't be upset with either of those players.
Yeah,
Um, Either one of them can go on to have a great career and be, you know, a perennial Pro Bowler and like all pro level talent. It just this stuff, as we know, depends on a lot of details. There's a lot of context that goes into it, like fit, coaching, opportunity, et cetera, et cetera, et
injuries.
cetera.
Yeah.
Yeah, and then like also on the player, like how hard are they willing to work? How committed are they to this? Because it does take like you have to, you know, you have to put your entire self into this to be great. You can't just in the NFL, you can't just rely on talent. Like you see a lot of college players be great because they're relying on talent and then they don't really know how to work hard when it comes to the
Mm.
NFL, especially like when it comes to structuring your own life, right? Like you're not going to class and then to practice and then to study hall and then to bed. Like you have to figure things out on your own. And it's hard. Especially when you're making all that money and you have all these distractions.
You have to go to the grocery
Um,
store. You have to go to the post office.
yeah, like if you have to do more shit for yourself, um, and it can really like, yeah, you can get lost in that. I mean, it's exciting. You have money, people know who you are. like hot chicks probably want to fuck you all the time. I mean, I'm sure that happened in college, but now like it's even more. I don't know. Um, but to answer your question, um, David Bailey's probably a little more polished and like ready to plug and play. Arvell Reese is like a more exciting, higher ceiling, like might be able to go a little further. If coached the right way, which in New York with this new coaching staff, and this is like a new era of Giants football. Um, it's scary what they're doing. They've had a very good offseason so far. And I know what they say about like, okay, cool, you won the offseason. Congratulations. Your people are trying to win the Super Bowl, but they are on their way to like putting together a very good team. This is very good roster building by them. I was confused about the Chiefs trading up to take Mansour Delane. Maybe there was some chatter that he was going to get taken, and so they move up. They traded their starting corner to the Rams this offseason, so they did have a need. So they trade up from what 9 to um
6
9 to 6 to
from
take
Cleveland.
Mansour. A bit of a reach. It was confusing to me, but hey, that's Chiefs football for you. Jordan Tyson to the Saints. I think Jordan Tyson is kind of a scary prospect because of his injury history. He's been hurt a lot. Like
Yeah,
he was limping to the stage to shake Goodell's hand.
really.
And they even mention it like on ESPN. They were like, yeah, like we talked to the coaching staff, and like they said sometimes they had to protect him from himself and like not let him like work out or go practice on his like with an injury. And it's like, yeah, that's kind of a red flag to me. Like, can this guy not allow himself to heal? Like, are injuries going to be a problem? Like, you see that a lot with like highly regarded prospects. Is like they could have had this great career, but there's a history of injuries. And that is kind of true with Jordan Tyson. And there's not, because he was injured and didn't play full seasons, like, he doesn't really have a history of deep and like full production, but he is a very good dominant receiver. He's a big body receiver who's also a vertical threat. Like, he's a very enticing guy. Exciting for them to pair him with Chris Olave, but if they're imagining, we have Tyler Shuck, he's our quarterback, let's go get him a number two. So he has a weapon alongside Chris Olave, but both those guys get hurt a lot. So if you have an extensive injury history with your 1 and 2, it's like kind of defeats the purpose of adding like an elite level talent in your receiver room. But hey, that's why they make these decisions and I don't.
Yeah, it's just. I mean, is Mickey Loomis really concerned about like his like job security whatsoever? I mean, he seems to be able to do whatever he wants.
Yeah, and he'll continue just to do whatever he wants. He'll be fine. And I hope this kid stays healthy because he's fun and he's a good player, and you want good, exciting players in the NFL. Um, Ty Simpson at 13 to the Rams was weird.
Hmm.
I didn't think I figured he'd be a day 2 pick.
Same.
Um, but I don't know. The Rams really need someone behind Stafford, I guess. And they're preparing for the future, so they move up and grab him. To me, what this said was maybe there's something going on with Stafford injury wise. Maybe his body isn't ready. Something happened, and he's recovering from an injury or from some like or maybe just like the collective brutality of last season on his 37, 38-year-old body. Um,
It's
so I
probably
don't know.
the
It definitely
It's probably like
raised.
the cloning process has been gummed up somehow, and his new homunculus came out, and it was sort of deformed, and it's
Yeah,
gonna take him so like it takes at least 4 months to grow another one, and they don't know if
that's smart. Yeah,
the clone will be ready.
the
Yeah,
plasma gunks up the tubes, and
yeah,
they accidentally. Yeah, the new homunculus had a couple fragile, had some broken chromosomes on it, so
yeah.
his face looked even doofier.
The sources are saying that he didn't. His skull was sort of just actually like a sack, like there was no bone material at all, sort of just like an octopus's head, kind of. And
Well, that's smart. That's like his wife.
he had a good 40 time, and he was throwing on target throws in sort of like a scrimmage that they did, but they were just worried about the head sack, so they're
I
gonna
think it's
decide
weird.
to.
I think it's a
Oh,
weird pick. I think it's a huge reach. I think it's the biggest reach of the first round,
ugh.
but we'll see. Maybe Les Snead is a brain genius, and we're not. We're just
I mean,
plebes for a
yeah,
reason.
because it's Sean McVay, I think people are not going to criticize it as much because they're like, well, he must know something if he did it. But the Rams are so smart about quarterbacks.
That spectrumy little guy he knows what he's doing. Reuben Bain to the Bucks is a very fun and good pick. I love Reuben Bain a lot. He was my favorite edge for most of the process, but at the very end, that's when I kind of got on the Keldrick Falk train, especially because I was looking at Keldrick Falk in the context of falling to the Eagles, and I really enjoyed watching him. But Reuben Bain is fantastic. It's just he has short arms, but I don't give a fuck about that. That doesn't matter to me. I think people get hung up on these weird little details that don't matter. Kenyon Sadiq to the Jets. Let's talk about the Jets now as a team.
Wait, did you see Reuben Bain's walk down the little corridor?
I didn't. I missed it.
When he got drafted, he just is power walking through it. And they that they had the little vanity thing set up with the hat, with the team's hat that drafted him. And there's that little mirror with a camera in it, and they put the hat on. They're like, "Oh, okay, I look good," and they keep walking. He just snatched the hat without stopping and went straight up to the stage.
That's sick. See, he's all business, man.
Love the aura, love the energy. He's a Florida man, born and raised Miami. Went to Miami, now stays in Florida with the Bucks.
Staying in Florida.
Love the pick. Love the fit.
Absolutely, that rocks. Good for them. But let's talk about the Jets really quick. So they take at number 2, they go David Bailey, the edge rusher. At 16, they take Kenyon Sadiq. And then at 30, they trade into 30, and they go Omar Cooper Jr., the highly regarded wide receiver from Indiana. I love what they've done here is they went out and they got the best available defensive player on their board, and then they hammered offense, and they got some weapons. And they kind of have a placeholder quarterback right now with Geno. But what they're doing is they have a hella decent O-line. They have a stud running back. What they needed was weapons to pair with Garrett Wilson, and they've done that. They have a potentially generational tight end prospect who could be the next Antonio Gates or Jimmy Graham, and Omar Cooper Jr., who's a legit route running savant that can get open, that can play in space, that can be your day one number 2. I think this is the best first round out of any team. I love what they've done.
Wow.
And Kenyon Sadiq, that's about average. He was supposed to be a top 15, top 20 pick. Omar Cooper Jr. falls a little bit. They trade back into 30, don't give a lot up for the pick. And I think it's fantastic. They still have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 picks left in this draft. 1, 2, 3 of them are going to be in the top 100. So that's fantastic. The Jets aren't fucking around. They were pissed about how last year went, but this is serious. This is a good draft. They've had a good offseason. They are filling holes with not just with replacement level players, right? They are filling holes with high ceiling, exciting prospects,
premier prospects,
right, that they can develop. And I don't know if their coach is going to be around to develop them, right? But so what they're doing is they're drafting best available at the positions of need, and that's the smartest thing you can do as a rebuilding team that has a bunch of needs. Look at a spot on your roster that has glaring holes. Put yourself in position to draft best available when there's still elite talent on the board. I love that strategy, man.
And it's a bit of an urgent rebuild, right? Because it kind of feels like they're not only rebuilding, but they're behind schedule rebuilding. They were not supposed to be that bad last year.
No, yeah, they were a disaster last year. So they're being aggressive, and you love to see it. Let's see here. The next pick that stuck out to me, and this is a bit of homerism, is Mekhi Lemon, number 20, to the Eagles. Mekhi Lemon was on my list of guys that I liked, prospects I liked. He was probably my number 1 receiver. Obviously after Carnell Tate, everyone knew Carnell Tate was going to be a top 5 guy. He's your premier prospect, and then there was the rest of the field. I like Mekhi Lemon's game. He's a little bit smaller, but he plays big. He's fast. He's has true open field speed. He's really good in the slot. Jalen Hurts doesn't necessarily like to throw to the middle of the field, but this offense that we're going to have with this new offensive coordinator is designed to take advantage of mismatches in the middle of the field. And it looks like they went out and got their smaller receiver, their slot guy, their move receiver, um, who's going to be comfortable in this system. Really strong hands. He's very aggressive and strong at the catch point. He plays bigger than his 5'11", 6-foot frame dictates. He's also a psycho. He went
Yeah,
viral for having like,
he's like slithering during his interview, like
yeah.
sneaking around.
Um,
He seems
he's
like
of
a
course,
freakazoid, which is what you love for a wide receiver.
yeah,
As
you
a
want
fan.
that. Um, and of course, this signals that there is going to be an AJ Brown trade. We're just at this point waiting for the details. But now that Eagles wide receiver room is looking pretty good, top to bottom, right? There's like a lot of talent in it. Devonta Smith as your number one, he has the potential to be an elite number one receiver in this league. And now you have Mekhi Lemon, you have Dontavian Wicks, you have Hollywood Brown. You have Omar. Oh fuck, what's his name? Omar Cooper. 1 second. I
Darius
have to
Cooper.
look up Darius Cooper.
I
Excuse
have their
me.
depth chart right here.
Okay, yeah, Darius Cooper, and there's somebody else in there that I'm missing. I believe I said Hollywood Brown.
Quez Watkins,
Yeah,
Dontavian
Quez
Wicks,
Watkins is back. Yeah, I
Johnny
forgot about that.
Wilson. Johnny Wilson?
Yeah, he's like a very tall, slower receiver. I believe he was a Michigan man. Um, they love him. They just love his size, but he's hurt a lot and has not earned much playing time. Probably going to be a cut, I would imagine. He was a late round draft pick a couple years ago. Um, he is famous in Eagles lore for like he got some snaps in the Super Bowl in like the fourth quarter, and he got a ball thrown at him and he dropped it. And but they made Tops made cards from that Super Bowl, and Johnny Wilson's card is a picture of him dropping the only pass thrown to him. So that's kind of what he's known for, which
World
is
champs,
embarrassing.
baby. Can't take that away from him. That ring still
Nope.
fits.
Um, but I don't know. I love the Mekhi Lemon pick in the context of this receiver room. I think he's going to be a very exciting slot receiver. Maybe he eventually works his way up to that number two. Um, but just like he's like a much better Wes Welker, in my opinion.
Mm.
He's probably a faster Wes Welker. Bolitnikoff winner. So like that's the thing is like the guy that wins the Bolitnikoff is rarely like an elite dude in the NFL. And I brought that up in like when I was talking about him in the pre-draft. But I love this. I love this fit for the Birds. They had a need there. I'm so happy that they didn't go with one of the after those two tackles were gone that went in the top 10. And it was guys like Proctor and Monroe Freeling and Maxi Onachor. Look, they're great, but I don't know, man. I think there's a lot of bust potential there. We don't need to spend another first round pick on a potential bust. Like, there are just too many questions about those prospects. So I think what they did was the right thing, especially getting an elite level talent that your new offensive coordinator is feeling great about in this system. Um, and only trading up a couple spots to get it. They traded up 3 places. And the best part about this is the Steelers were on the phone at 21 with Mekhi Lemon saying, hey, congratulations. We're going to take you, man. You're going to be a Steeler. And then the Eagles trade up 1 spot before them and take him. And apparently the Steelers are pissed because, that was going to be their big exciting pick. He was the guy they wanted. They couldn't believe he was
in
falling to
Pittsburgh
them.
too.
And it's in Pittsburgh. Yeah. So apparently it just kind of killed the vibe in like the Steelers war room all night, which I think is hilarious. Fuck them. So that's some good shit. Let's see here.
More fuel to the fire of the Battle of Pennsylvania, which rages on tonight in the NHL.
It rages on. Maxi Onachor goes to the Steelers. They do need O-line help for their very old quarterback that is probably going to come back. I don't know.
Yeah,
the
will they won't they stuff with Aaron Rodgers is like, are you guys serious? Are you really hemming and hawing over whether you want to bring back the 28th best quarterback in football who's going to be 100 years old when the season starts?
Yeah, it's ridiculous.
I
would rather play him than Mason Rudolph, to be honest. But still, like, you could have had somebody else. There were there's talent available in the market this offseason that you just you sat back and let get signed elsewhere.
Yeah, with your new coach, your new era, you could have had us this whole Steelers.
Just real quick here, Dylan Thieneman to the Bears, the white safety from Oregon, great pick. He's a very strong, very smart, like athletic, like hard hitting safety. They needed some more dudes in that secondary. That was kind of their weaker point. They still need an edge rusher, but there are still some good edges available and on day 2, so they can still pick somebody up. So I don't know. Let's fucking go. Let's see what they do. I think I'm hearing Max Crosby is also probably still available, so we'll see how that works.
I did do some just some background research on Dylan Thieneman. He is following 2 different best of Family Guy moments type Instagram accounts. 2 different Family Guy ones. So he's going to be great.
Hell of a player. Casey Concepcion to the Browns. There was a bit of a run on receiver in the first round. I don't know much about Casey. I know that he is like an elite separator, and the Browns need pass catchers. So, smart move by them. I want to say, they got Spencer Fano too. They got a tackle and a receiver. Like they're really investing in that offense that was less than acceptable last year. And then really quick, just to round it out, Caleb Lomu, the Utah tackle, to New England. That is great. They need another tackle, especially after Will Campbell's disastrous playoffs and Super Bowl appearance. There are a lot of murmurs that they're going to bump him inside to guard because of how he just got absolutely destroyed with the world watching. So that's something to keep an eye on. And then Jordan Price at number 32, the Seahawks get their Kenneth Walker replacement with Jeremiah Love's backfield mate at Notre Dame, who is like consensus kind of like the second best running back in the draft, depending on who you're asking. And then just real quick, I want to say this. Peter Woods, defensive tackle, was drafted by the Chiefs, who traded back into the first round at number 29.
Right.
I don't know if you saw this on the broadcast, but his entire family and friends that were at his house, his parents' house, watching the draft, they're all wearing white.
I saw this.
White suits, and he's in green, and it was just so sick. Just such a baller way to get drafted. So if that has anything to signal about his ability on the field, which it does not, I would feel great about this pick as a Chiefs fan. But luckily, I'm not a Chiefs fan. I'm a normal guy that doesn't have like a Wednesday night DUI.
Yeah, another fun little draft where the player was drafted environment little tidbit was I saw the Texans pick at 26, Kalen Rutledge, the guard from Georgia Tech. He was drafted. I saw a Texans fan retweet his him sitting there with his family getting drafted. He was like, dude, this guy's watching this on like a cheapo 48-inch Vizio with like metal folding tables in the living room. He's about to be a Hall of Famer first ballot.
Oh, absolutely, yeah. That's so sick. I missed that detail.
Coming out the mud from Georgia. Yeah,
good for him. Good for the Texans too, who need help on the O-line. Need a lot of help on that O-line. So good for them. But yeah, a fun first round. I loved it. It was chaotic. It was all over the place. It had a little bit of everything. So a lot of trades, a lot more trades, I think, than people were expecting. Even.
Oh yeah.
Players getting taken. It's a reach as far as like draft projection, but we'll see how these guys end up playing, right? Like I think the rule is you wait 3 to 5 years on a draft class to judge it. So in 3 to 5 years, we'll see. I don't know, maybe Ty Simpson is a Pro Bowler every year with old McVay, and it like gives McVay a little more life in his career, a second act, if you will. But I don't know. I didn't like him as a prospect. He was so beat up and made so many bad decisions down the stretch. Was just injured and so bad in that Rose Bowl that he got pulled from the game when he got his ass kicked by Indiana.
Well,
but hey, that's ball for you.
Rams must have really saw something in him to make that somewhat aggressive move to get him. Going to be a lot of eyes on LA.
Yeah. A lot of eyes on LA. Oh, and to answer your question, I'm not like a super football brain genius nor an insider, but yesterday I was watching the Eagles, All City. I was watching their YouTube stream, and they
Right.
were covering the draft, and they had their insider Fran with them. He's like the All City insider guy, and he was getting texts, and he was saying it on air on that podcast on YouTube before the picks were in. So that's how I knew. Like he's like, oh, like Rams are trading and they're getting Ty Simpson. And then it's like announced like 5 minutes later, but I was just playing around in the group chat acting like I was a football genius.
Damn, dude. You deceived us.
Yeah, I mean, look, I'm not gonna just like I can in good conscience just not let you into that, let you in on that. You know, I enjoyed it for the evening, but I was gonna tell everybody eventually.
I mean,
I'm not gonna act like something I'm not here.
I still think you're a brain genius, even though you told me that.
Hey,
I still
thank you.
think that. Yeah,
Thank you. I'm a better football mind than John Elway, and that's all that matters to me.
it takes a brain genius to think to do that, to play a little trick on us in the group chat. That's still actually a brain genius move to even think
absolutely, you're right. I didn't think about that because you're also a brain genius. So you saw something that I didn't. So like we have two brains, two geniuses. We should make one big brain and become the ultimate football genius.
See,
Which is kind of what we're doing with our takes, our dangerous takes.
The true brain genius move is to know that we should never do that because we would become drunk with power and it would immediately become pretty much immediately become world sort of like dictators, like bad guys. So we got to keep our brains separate for now. If it ever comes to this moment where it seems like the only way to save the world is to soul bond our brains, then maybe we should do it.
Okay. Yeah, we'll keep that in the back pocket. We'll keep it in the back pocket.
Big emphasis on maybe. Do we want to quickly touch on the continuing Vrabel and Russinni stuff that is Vrabel not making another appearance before media? More pictures coming out?
Wait, even more pictures have come out today?
Well, maybe not today, but just like the subsequent pictures.
Oh, yes, the pictures that came out yesterday. Yeah.
On the day of the
going back to 2020, like 2019, 2020, yeah. They've been banging for more than half a decade. Like this is like a long affair. They're bad people, Anthony.
Yeah, just the continuing evidence of coming out of them of stuff that both of them have said over the years that makes everyone raising their eyebrows. Like Diana Russinni naming her first child Michael.
Yeah, that is so odd.
Having a tweet being like, gosh, I wonder who is the best guy named Michael who ever played and coached the NFL. I think I know my answer. Tee.
Yeah, she's a bad lady. She's a bad wife.
They're bad.
She's destroyed her family.
If I'm their respective spouses, Mike Vrabel's wife and Dinah Trinity's husband, I'm taking them for all they got. This is
absolutely.
all evidence. That's probably. I mean, some people have posed the idea that that's how these fucking pictures came about. Is somebody hired a goddamn private investigator to get ahead on some sort of negotiations. There's only I don't know. Maybe
all these pictures coming out are fishy. But also they're both public figures, so maybe they're just coming out now because like people are like, oh my god, that's Mike Vrabel, and like
people recognize them. I heard
and they've got the pictures, and then they're being opportunistic now. Like, oh yeah, I remember I saw them at that bar.
Right when you were right when you logged on, I was in the middle of watching so Pablo Torre finally made a video about this. He finally put out a thing this morning about, or maybe it's yesterday morning, about this whole situation. And he in his reporting, he said that he found out that the person that originally sold the Sedona pictures, the things that set this all off, well, they have their hands interlocked. The person that originally sold that photo to the New York Post only knew who Vrabel was. Only took the photo because they recognized Vrabel, and it was apparently just a lady, just a random lady who was also at the resort. It was like, hey, is that an NFL coach? And like zoomed in with her phone or maybe her sort of nice camera that she happened to have. Because Sedona is like a picturesque like tourist area.
Oh yeah, it's absolutely gorgeous.
It's not crazy that a person would have a nice camera at this expensive resort. It's just a random citizen, not a private investigator. Because that's what they talk about. He has this guest on, this guy named David Sampson, who is an absolute fucking slime bag. And good, I mean,
love it. Probably a very good PI.
Good on Pablo Torre for having this guy on to give the like slime bag capitalist spin on this. He's a former team baseball executive. He was the team president of the Miami Marlins for a long
And now
time.
he's a private investigator.
No, he's just a
Okay.
rich guy. He's just like a cutthroat
Ah.
businessman who he says that he has used private investigators in he's
Okay, of
used
course he's a rich guy. That makes
he's
sense.
used the services of PIs many times, so he has experience. That's why he's on it. But yeah. So the lady that originally sold these Sedona pictures was just a rando who didn't even know who Diana Russinni was, only recognized Vrabel, and that's why the photos only went for
That's so funny.
such a relatively small price. And then once the Post figured out it, but somebody obviously at the Post figured out it was Russinni and was like, "Hello."
And they're like, yeah, this isn't just an aging smoke show. This is New York Times' very own Diana Rossini.
Yeah, and I watched Vrabel's press conference this morning too, and he does not say the word sorry or apologize, but he does say, "I will take accountability." He says that he will take accountability. That's one of the first things he says is, "I'm going to take accountability for my actions." He repeats about 1,000 times that his family and this football team are the most important things in his life in that order. He says that about 15 times, and he does take questions for about 2 minutes, and they're mostly softballs. He doesn't. Again, he's sort of dancing around it. He doesn't fold. He doesn't obviously doesn't come right out and say like, "Yeah, I cheated on my wife. Sorry, I'm gonna take a step back for a minute." He's just referring to this amorphous incident, or doesn't even if you didn't know what was going on, you have no clue what he's referring to. It's very vague. But a guy at the end, I don't know if he's a Patriot supporter, I don't know who it was who asked the question, did have the courage to ask him something along the lines of like, right, so, and he phrased it in a very nice sounding way. He wasn't like forming it in like a gotcha sense, but he did say like, so on this day you said when the photos first came out, you said that this was all laughable and could be waved away. Then you had your statement the other day. Now you're saying all this. Can you sort of just walk me through the process? He used that phrase, "Walk me through the process."
Walk me, God, that's so good.
Of how that came about, and Vrabel's like kind of as he's finishing the question, he's already kind of starting to respond like, "Yeah, well, that's a personal matter and blah blah blah, and my family and my football team and blah blah blah." And it doesn't answer, so it's not going away. I think he's gonna have to step down. Honestly, like I don't know. People keep bringing up the players. Like, what do the players think about this? As like
I
a
don't think the
neutral
players
fan?
care.
You know, the players care.
I don't think the players
That's
care. I think that I think all football players care about like, can we win with this coach? Can we win with this player? And they don't think about like outside of the locker room, off of the field stuff like us plebes and like people in the media do. I think that they see him as like, if they see him as a good coach and someone that they can win behind and they like him, that's all that matters. And then like
they're yeah
obviously
they're okay.
there's gonna be like this really like, this is what I think is gonna happen is like the Patriots are gonna, we're gonna get through all this and he'll go to like sex rehab or whatever, and then like we'll get to the regular season and there'll be rumors of like, yeah, like the off the field stuff and we'll use euphemisms like distractions and off the field stuff, and then they'll end up like going on a huge run and then like using this as like everyone was like said that we were done and we were bad and like that we weren't good and they wanted our coach to quit and like no, everyone hates us, and like they'll just use this as like a chip on their shoulder thing, which is like the Patriots way. It's
Yeah,
like manufacturing
the
any
fake
kind
victim
of,
mentality. Like they're
yeah,
overcoming it,
yes,
overcoming
um,
adversity.
yes. So they're like, yeah, the media hates us, everyone hates us. Like we're the best team in the
They
league, and
said
it's
we
going to be
couldn't
really
do it.
obnoxious, and it's going to be really fun. And like the dumb Patriots fans are going to be like, yeah, I remember when people were saying that the Patriots were done, and it's like, well, nobody said that. They just said, why is your coach fucking a lady with a husband while he has a wife? Why is your coach fucking
And
journalists
then
or
basically
members
lying
of the
about it.
media?
I mean, he pretty much lied
Mhm.
about it by saying it was
Oh,
laughable and not
he's,
what it looked like.
he absolutely lied about it. It's like that's what he did. He lied. He lied to our face.
It's all the other thing that's been brought to attention is that they have yet. I mean, Rusini has already resigned and seems to be kind of
Yeah, her
resolving this
career's
resolve.
cooked. Yeah,
But
she's
she
done.
never was able to produce photos of the girls'
The other
trips.
friends.
Like, So that was kind of damning too. Before the kissing, like them literally kissing on the mouth at a bar in 2020, like right before COVID, or right
Yeah,
when
they
we didn't think
definitely
COVID was that big of
underplayed.
a deal,
Yeah.
like early March.
Yeah, she definitely played her hand, weren't you? Like being like, "Oh yeah, no, this is nothing. This is just a big nothing burger. We were as a big group of friends," and it's like,
And
yeah,
yeah,
I think it's the lying. Getting caught lying to protect yourself is like the scummiest thing, and like that's why, especially as a member of the media, it's like, well, you already lied to everyone. Like, you could have just like done the harder thing and the embarrassing thing and been like, yeah, sorry, but
yeah,
you fucking
getting
lied and you doubled down and you got aggressive about it. And I think that's what it's going to end up being like the nail in the coffin. It's like how aggressive she was. Like, no, I gotta fucking do this, you idiots.
the combination
Um,
of lying about it and now seeing that how far back it goes is pretty sinister. And the
yeah,
fact that it was in like early March of 2020 in particular, some people have brought up the fact that means that they were like, uh-oh, this COVID thing's getting pretty real. We might have to shut down for a while. Let's meet one more time. Let's go to the bar and have one last hurrah. Big kiss in public before we have to get locked away with our shitty families that we fucking hate.
seriously, man. Like, it's so sad. Like, I couldn't imagine like
I just
that shit would fucking destroy me. Like, if
dude,
I was
dude,
that
I would
guy, I would
be
hate that.
if
I would
I'm
hate
the
it if my wife cheated on me
if
and it
I'm
was
the
public.
if I'm the spouse, I'm renting an apartment.
Oh yeah, I'm out of there. I'm
I'm
fucking
on
out of
no
there.
contact. Like it's over.
Yeah.
It's just a legal formality until we get the
Yep.
papers signed. Like
Yeah.
it's
Fuck
fully.
you.
You can go to horny therapy if you want, and maybe I'll keep up appearances for the fucking season or whatever. But like I'm sleeping at my sister's house or whatever it is. Like
Yeah.
yeah.
I don't know. Maybe Russinni and her husband have like an agreement where she's like, I want to fuck other people, and like
She's like, yeah, well, what about the
that's
au
cool
pair
with
two
him.
years ago with you? And he was like, ah, damn.
Yeah, you're right. I did fuck that 19-year-old girl in our house in the guest room.
It was in the guest room. Yeah, they have a don't ask, don't tell policy, but we shouldn't. We shouldn't
Yeah. No, we shouldn't. That would be
until
irresponsible of us.
there's further
Um,
reporting.
yeah, but
Well,
that'll be interesting to follow. I can't wait. Hey, day 2 is upon us, though.
yeah, I was gonna say
And
before we wrap it up here, do you have any predictions or needs for day 2 for the birds or
I
otherwise?
want edge rusher. I want edge rusher or a safety. I made an embarrassing gaffe in our group chat where I missed the Cowboys pick and didn't see they got Caleb Downs, and in my head he was just falling. But hey, in my defense, I'd eaten an edible and I was going to run, so my brain wasn't all the way there. And I was excited, thinking, "Oh fuck yeah, we're gonna trade him Caleb Downs," not knowing he was picked like literally 10 picks higher. But I definitely they need a tackle. They need a Lane Johnson replacement. So like tackle, edge, and someone like another safety or a corner are the big needs in my opinion. But we'll see. I'll have to look at the
Broncos
board. The players left.
Broncos do have
Um,
a second round pick. I thought they didn't. 62.
I'm excited to see. It seems like there's a lot of talent still on the board. So I'm excited to see how this goes. Maybe we get R. Mason Thomas. That would be sick. Coolest name in the draft. Um, I don't think that Seth McGowan will be a day 2 guy. He's probably a day 3 pick or a UDFA, but I'm also keeping my feelers out to see where he goes because I will be following him closely. But yeah, I'm just excited. I'm just happy it's draft season. I'm excited to watch it unfold. How about you? You want the Broncos to? What do you want the Broncos to do here?
I want the Broncos to draft the biggest, fastest, sweatiest, hottest guy in the world.
Nice. That kisses other guys,
He can kiss whoever
which
he
is
wants.
okay. Yeah, it doesn't
Mhm.
matter
I
as
don't care
long as
what
he's not married and
who
kissing
he
someone
kisses in
else's husband or
the
wife.
bathroom he chooses to use, fine with me.
Yeah, I
As long
don't
as he
give a
can,
shit what he does
as
in the
long as he can
bathroom.
throw, kick, or catch the ball, or maybe he doesn't have to do anything with the ball. Maybe he's a lineman. As long as he's big, fast, strong, and hot, and
Yeah,
sweaty. That's
and
all I
not
care
a
about.
trumper, not a secret trumper.
Frankly, we have to be willing to overlook that at this point in our
I
career.
know, it's unfortunate.
But as long as he's not like openly a piece of shit about it, which people rarely are these days due to his connections to the pedophile network. But that's probably about it for our draft overview show, this little quick sode for you folks. Thanks for joining us. We'll see you next week.
We love you.
I love you. Love. Hey, thank you, Craig.
Thanks.